Okay, so I had a little bit of time to go over some of the songs that were probably, I titled it Songs I Liked and probably at least had recorded up to a blank cassette. And this is when I was 13 years old, to follow up to the other one about the albums. And that would be in 1985. So the first one would be Say, Say, Say by Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney.
Say, say what you want, but don't play games.
That I think came out in like 84 or something like that. So I'm pretty sure at that time it would have been on my cassette, and I had that song recorded multiple times because I love that song when I was a kid. So that was definitely on there. Another one was We Don't Need Another Hero by Tina Turner from the Mad Max movie Beyond Thunderdome.
We don't need another hero. We don't need to.
I never saw that movie. Never saw Beyond Thunderdome. But I love that song. It was a song just, it was one that played constantly all the time. Enjoyed it. And I still enjoy it when it comes on today. So that definitely was something I was listening to when I was around 13 years old. Take On Me by a-ha. Yep, definitely. Always liked that song. The video was like groundbreaking at the time on MTV. And it wasn't until I heard an acoustic version of it probably a couple of years ago that I realized there's that part where he's like, I'll be gone, where he sings real high. In a day or two. I didn't know he was saying in a day or two. I had no idea because it's such a falsetto and such a high voice. I didn't, hello. There's somebody saying hello back there. Yeah, everybody's very friendly out here. So yeah, that song Take On Me played a lot. Then Electric Avenue by Eddie Grant. That was such a staple in the 80s. Played constantly on the radio. Such a great song. Still love it. Another guy I probably need to dive into is Eddie Grant. I don't know how big his catalog was or is, or I don't know if he's still around or not. But Electric Avenue was definitely a song you heard in arcades and all that at that time, so it's definitely on my cassette. Let's see. Oh, Come On Eileen.
Come on, Eileen. Oh, I swear, at this moment.
Probably, I think if I had to, let's see if I don't know if that's my kid coming down. We'll see. If I had to pick a song, favorite song of the 80s as far as the 80s, an 80s sounding song, a song of the 80s, that would be this one. It would be Come On Eileen by Dexy's Midnight Runners. I just love that song. And I don't think I like too many other songs by them, but man, that song is just, it's stuck with me for so long. I don't know if that's my kid, I'm just making sure. Nope, not my kid. Yeah, so that one. Then, well, then there was We Are the World, USA for Africa. I had that I had it on, I had a single. I didn't have the album. Bought the album a couple years ago when I got back into vinyl, and I kind of regretted it because I think there's a lot of bad songs on that album. But it was a big thing. It was like Thriller was huge. We Are the World was huge. Watching the making of Thriller was huge. Watching the making of We Are the World was a huge thing also. And, in songs I probably left off here, it was probably like 1982, 83. And we're talking 85 here, but I had a lot of Michael Jackson on my cassette players. A lot of Beat It, a lot of Billie Jean, Want to Be Starting Something, but I liked all the songs on that. So a lot of those were on there because I didn't have the album until I was a little bit older, so I recorded a lot of the songs off the radio onto cassette. Then, let's see, Raspberry Beret by Prince. Yep. Never had that album. I had Purple Rain. I think Raspberry Beret was right after Purple Rain. But liked Raspberry Beret, but never was really encouraged or really had a desire to get around the world in a day. And I might need to recheck that one out too, believe it or not, because I remember that album came out and I still haven't really listened to it. Night Shift by the Commodores.
Gonna be some sweet sounds coming down on the night shift.
Bruce Springsteen just did a cover of that recently, and I like his version of it too, but there's nothing like the original of that song. I love that song. Such a smooth song. It's talking about people of the past soul singers that we lost, and it was really cool to kind of get to know them. I kind of got to know some artists through that song. So yeah. Run Away by Slade. Love that album. I have that. Keep Your Hands Off My Power Supply. They had another ballad on there called My Oh My, but love that song. Run Away. Yeah, that's just a good driving 80s song. Then Axel F. I forgot to write down who wrote it, but it was definitely from Beverly Hills Cop, right? Axel Foley. So that was a big one too. That played like crazy on the radio, like constantly. Safety Dance.
We can dance, everybody look at your hands. We can dance.
I had it. I was kind of thinking about this one. I'm like, I know I heard it a lot. It was a staple of the 80s. But now I'm thinking about it. I can't remember if I had it recorded on cassette or not. So not sure about that one. But Our House, I definitely had that one.
Our house in the middle of our street. Our house.
That one I definitely had recorded. Probably multiple times. That's just another one of those songs I hear and it takes me right back to an arcade or a movie theater or somewhere in the 80s, hanging out in a friend's car, whatever. Nikita, Elton John.
On Nikita, you will never know.
I had that song. I liked it. It was a nice little ballad. Didn't have the album. I think that album is not very good, in my opinion, but that was the one good song that came off of that album. Then Don't Come Around Here No More, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Don't come around here no more.
That definitely put Tom Petty on my radar. I love the way that song sounded. And Refugee was already playing a lot on MTV. So yeah, those two were Don't Come Around Here No More. The video was awesome too, such a psychedelic, weird video. So that one was cool. But I love the song. I like the production of it. It was supposed to be an album about going back to his southern roots, and much of the album was, but that song definitely wasn't. But somehow, it definitely fit and worked on that album. Got spears everywhere. It's cool. Let's see. Down to the last two. Money for Nothing, Dire Straits. Yeah.
That's the way you do it. Get your money for nothing. Get your chicks for free.
That's so 80s. I mean, Sting's voice coming in and that him, I want my MTV, and MTV was king at the time. And that riff, oh my God. And Sting coming in, well, Sting in the beginning where he's like chanting, I want my MTV. And then that freaking Mark Knopfler solo, forget it. And that song hasn't aged. I know it's an 80s song. People say it's aged. I think it's still just a great rock song. It has a great feel to it. So. And then the last one is, do I have to end it on this one? I guess so. That's where I ended because I was trying to do my research on this. I need a better part two, but Can't Fight My Feeling. Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore by R.E.O. Speedwagon. Yeah, I had that album. I think it was Wheels Are Turning, and that album was. See if my kid's coming down. That album was definitely one I had. I liked. It holds up kind of good. It's one I can put on every once in a while. But Can't Stop This Feeling Anymore. Oh yeah, such a good ballad. And being a 13 kid again, figure out my hormones and everything. That was the song. So. Yeah, so those are the songs of 80. I'm sure there's more. I didn't get a chance to go through the whole list. I was trying to go with stuff off the top of my head. I had to check some of the dates because there's some songs that stick with you, but you don't quite remember what year they came out. So I wanted to make sure they had been at least cut off at 1985. There's definitely songs that played multiple years through the 80s. That I would have had on a cassette at 85, and even 1984. So listen to it on this one. Definitely on my cassette multiple times on my cassette. 1985 would have been Jump by Van Halen. Dun, dun, dun. That. I had that multiple times. And probably No, that was the big one. I don't think I had Hot for Teacher or anything like that. But yeah, that was it. I'm trying to think, 85. Yeah, that's probably about it. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm gonna leave you with a cool view, and I think my kid's coming, so let's get a shot of her. You. Nice. How's that? Good. You like that? Yeah.
Bumpy ride.
Yeah, I'm totally fine.